New rock stars, how are you doing? Eric Andreas, your Guitar Sage here today for a guide, a little field guide, if you will, or a little guide on the electric guitar. This is for beginners, and it's the top 3 things that you really need to know. This is going to take a lot of mystery away here about the electric guitar, and hopefully get you from acoustic to electric guitar if that's what you're looking to do, or if you're new to guitar itself and you got the electric, then it will help you with that too. So, the first thing is the electric guitar is very much like the acoustic guitar, at least theoretically speaking. So the names of the strings, the names of the notes, the chords, the scales, everything in regards to the musical theory part of the electric guitar is the exact same as an acoustic guitar, okay? The only difference, or the main difference between an acoustic guitar and an electric, of course, is the acoustic is meant to stand on its own, whereas if you play an electric guitar, when it's not going through the amplifier, just playing like that, it doesn't sound very good. It's not as alive sounding as, say, an acoustic. And so when you're strumming big chords and stuff like that, so it's going to sound a little smaller on the electric guitar when it's not playing. Obviously, the electric guitar can get very loud. We can get a lot different tones out of it and that sort of thing. So that's going to be the differences, basically, between the two. I always tell my students when they're wanting to go from acoustic to electric that it's a little bit like driving a different car, whereas the acoustic guitar is more like a Jeep, like driving a Jeep. It's a little bit more rugged and a little bit harder to play, but it can take more of a licking. As opposed to, say, maybe like a sports car that's going to be able to take corners much better, more tightly, be able to drive faster and that sort of thing. But going over bumps with it is not going to be very good, so it's going to be more sensitive. So electric guitars, definitely more sensitive. If I barely move my hands across the strings like that, we get some sounds out of it, and I barely touch the strings. Very alive, it just blossoms, right? Acoustic guitar, you get what you get when you're strumming it. So that's what I would say is probably the number one difference, is the feel of the two guitars and the way that it responds. Acoustic guitars typically have thicker strings because it stays in tune better and the guitar is louder with those thicker strings. Whereas the electric has thinner strings. You can bend the strings much easier on an electric, typically. Now, this is all depending on the setup of your two guitars. You could have an acoustic guitar with thin strings where the action's very low and it may feel a little bit more like an electric, and you could have an electric that has the strings very high. So these are generalities, okay, that I'm talking about, but almost always they're true. So electric's going to perform a little bit more like a race car, in that when you're behind the wheel and you step on the gas, you're going to be like, whoa, 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 okay? And you got to get used to the subtleties of the electric guitar, whereas the acoustic, not as much, okay? But you also don't get the diversity that you get from the electric guitar. Now, same thing with the feel. It's a much lighter touch on the electric, and so in the beginning, a lot of electric players are like, oh my gosh, it's so loud, it's so, in my face type of thing. Well, turn it down a little bit, turn your distortion down, your overdrive a little bit, and that will help a lot with that bit, okay? So, essentially the same guitar, but they do play differently, and you can do more with them, okay? So speaking of doing more with them, the electric guitar, as you can see, this one has 4 knobs and a switch. Now, different guitars have different configurations, different amounts of pickups, different styles of pickups, and all the rest. But when it comes to the electric guitar, you typically are going to have some sort of configuration where you have volume, tone, and some sort of pickup selector. So we're going to talk about the Les Paul today, but obviously every guitar is going to be slightly different. Usually when the pickup selector is pointed down, it's going to be the furthest pickup to the bridge. This is called the bridge, so this is going to be the pickup that we're hearing as opposed to this one. Now, with the Les Paul, if you put this is a 3-way switch. Some of them are 3-way, some are 5-way, some are 2-way. Like a Stratocaster would be a 5-way switch. At least the newer ones, like not 60s. Those are three-way switches, and you kind of had to toggle in between them. That's for another story. So right here, this pickup will be picked up when that switch is down. When it's all the way up, it will be the neck pickup, and when it's in the middle, you got both pickups at the same time. Now when it's down, we're talking about the bridge pickup, and the volume for that would be down here. So and the tone knob is going to be okay, so that's what the tone knob does, is it makes it sound very bright, like you're talking like this, and when you tone it down, it's like very muffled, more back like that, okay? And I don't have another way to describe it. Basically, it's like putting a blanket on the guitar and it's muffling it, okay? You can hear that. That sort of thing, okay? Now, so these two knobs will take care of this pickup. These two knobs will take care of this pickup, and you got basically have the same thing. So when I go to this upper pickup, now I'm going to turn the volume up. I've got my tone knob again, okay? Now, because every guitar is different, you're going to really need to experiment. There's not a video that you're going to be able to look up that's going to tell you exactly what your guitar does and exactly how it's going to sound. Chances are you're not going to find that. Even if you did, it's still not going to be, you really have to experiment with this. It would be like telling someone how to mold clay, when really you just need to get your hands on a piece of clay and start mushing it, okay? So similarly, you've got your guitar, you know the basics of those switches now. Do a little listening, do a little experimenting, and see what you like best, because everybody's different, everybody's setup's different, and there's not a perfect tone, and there's not a perfect way to set that up. Every guitar, all equipment's different, okay? And so that's as far as the knobs and what have you. So make sure you do lots of experimenting with that, okay? You can get lots of different tones just from turning the volume up and down on guitars, okay? I go over this in some of my videos here on YouTube, okay? Now, thirdly is you have other equipment when it comes to electric guitars. Typically, you have pedals and amplifiers. So an amplifier is something like this. It's a big box with a speaker in it, and it electronically makes the guitar louder. So you have a cable obviously plugged into the guitar, and that voltage from the guitar, very low voltage, goes through that cable into the amplifier, and the amplifier amplifies it and makes it louder, comes out the speaker, and then you're rocking a big stadium and the whole world's singing with you, right? That's the whole point of the electric guitar, is that we can amplify it. Now, we can amplify an acoustic guitar, but typically it's not going to have the same tonality that you're used to hearing from your favorite rock bands with electric guitars. Yes, you could take an acoustic with a pickup and run it through the pedals and through an amplifier and what have you, but it's not going to really give you the same effect that you're looking for. You can do it, I've done it, but it's not going to be as satisfying as plugging in a Les Paul or a Strat. Okay, so you have pedals, you have amplifiers. The amplifiers are typically made just to power the amp, but you can also get tone from it, like overdrive, EQ, reverb, like this. That type of kind of echoey sound, as opposed to where it's not as prevalent. So you have pickups for that. You've got all different types of pickups. Pickups for volume, modulators, delay, reverb, wah-wah pedals, tuning pedals. The list goes on, and people keep coming out with new pedals all the time. So a lot of people get caught up in the, Eric, which pedals do I need? I'm so confused. Don't be confused. Think very organically. Get the guitar out and just play. Now, if you're playing and you're like, well, my guitar doesn't quite sound like them, well, make sure it's the guitar that you're talking about and not your own playing, because a lot of times if you were playing the right thing, if you were playing with the same technique, that sort of thing, you are going to get the same sound. But in this case, in the beginning, if you're just starting off and you're trying to get that Eddie Van Halen sound, it's not, a lot of that's not coming necessarily from his guitar, it's coming from his fingers and the way that he's playing. Now, with that being said, yes, equipment. You need equipment. You need to have an amplifier, and some pedals are great. We could go on and on about the different types of pedals, but we won't have enough time in this video to really go down that path. I've got lots and lots and lots of videos about that here on YouTube and in my free courses. I've got a free course below for you for anybody who's starting to play guitar, or even if you've been playing for years. So make sure you don't miss that. It's going to be a wealth of information for you, and that link is below. Okay, YourGuitarSage.com/30. It's the top 30 lessons that I teach all my students here in Nashville, and it is a zinger. It will definitely help you out, my friends. So, you know, when it comes to the electric guitar, you want to do a lot of experimenting. You want to try different pedals, different amplifiers, and what have you. But it is you're opening a whole new door to a whole new world. So don't think that you're just going to get this in one day and there's one answer that you can get. There's lots of different answers. People come up with their sound in so many different ways. You're going to have your own way. Don't worry about how everybody else is doing it. Now, if you like a particular artist, what they're doing, you might want to read about them, hear what kinds of pedals and amplifiers they use. That's what all guitar aficionados do. They follow their favorite guitar players and they read interviews and that sort of thing, and they emulate what they're doing so they can get those similar sounds. That's okay to do, but just remember you have your own sound that's within you as well. Don't be afraid of doing some experimenting yourself. Okay, so I think that's enough to kind of get you going and just to understand the differences between the two, you know, and to basically give you a basic understanding of the electric guitar as opposed to the acoustic. And again, I've got some stuff for you, my friends. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on all those places, and I do a lot of giveaways there. I do a lot of content there, as well as the free course below, YourGuitarSage.com/30. There's a free ebook at YourGuitarSage. So tons of fun stuff for you, but start at that course because it's step by step. We talk about tone, we talk about picking out an acoustic guitar, picking out an electric guitar, all the bits and pieces that you're gonna need for a guitar player in building your foundation. So, my friends, please let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up, a subscribe, and let me know what you think below. Do you have any questions about the electric guitar? Do you have any needs? Let me know, because I'm here to help you. This is what I do, and I love doing it. So, as always, my friends, be kind to all beings. Don't trust the man. Practice your guitar, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.